Yes, welcome everybody. My name is Opige Joseph, the teacher of English. And I welcome you all to join me in this lesson. We are going to have a lesson in English, Primary 4. Yes. As you can see on the screen there, welcome to my class. So before we continue in this lesson, we have to remind ourselves the basics of self-awareness as far as the coronavirus is concerned. We have to keep washing our hands regularly with soap and clean water, alongside putting on our masks. We should not also forget about sanitizing our hands whenever we get access to a sanitizer. And above all, we should observe social distance. Those are some of the things we should do, try to avoid ourselves from contracting the COVID-19 disease. Primary 4 English is the lesson which is going on, and we are still on the topic describing people and objects. The subtopic there reads describing people. You should expect the learner listening to me or watching this lesson to use the appropriate words to describe people and objects. And those words which we use are to describe people and objects. Earlier on I said they are called adjectives. In this lesson in particular, we are going to look at maybe before we look at the opposite forms of those verbs, those adjectives. Earlier on, we looked at this work here. Those are some of the words we use when describing objects and people. And here I've designed this in such a way that it helps you as one of the learners to review, to revise the work we had done earlier on. So there I would request you to fill in the missing words, missing letters, such that you come up with the rightful words which we used in the previous lesson to describe objects and people. Hope you will do that. Thank you very much. We are continuing to look at the opposites of the different adjectives which we talked about in the previous lesson. And those adjectives are given just on your screen there. Going to look at the opposite forms of those words, and they are there. The first word is fat, beautiful, bad, short, old, kind, happy, polite, big, and strong. So these are just a few among the other words or adjectives which we use when we want to describe objects. So looking at this, an adjective like fat has its opposite. Sorry for that. And the opposites are there. We have thin, the opposite of fat. We have beautiful, whose opposite is handsome. Bad, the opposite is good. Short, the opposite form is tall. Old, the opposite form is young. And sometimes we can also use new, depending on what one is talking about. Kind has its opposite as unkind. So that one forms its opposite by using a prefix, by adding some combination of letters. That combination which we add, combination of letters that we add before a word to make it change its meaning and pronunciation. we call it a prefix. So there we add the prefix un to the word kind, and it gives us the word unkind. Happy, its opposite is unhappy. Polite, that one also forms its opposite by adding a prefix im. So when we add those letters before the word polite, it gives us the prefix. It gives us a new word which is the opposite of polite, and that is impolite. Or someone can also be right to say rude. It's also the opposite of polite. We have the adjective big, whose opposite is small. Then we have strong, whose opposite form is weak. Thank you very much. So those are the opposite forms of those adjectives. As we proceed in this lesson, we are going to look at a few sentences, that is sentence construction, using the opposite forms of the words we have just been talking about. In sentence 1, it says that madman is very unkind to children. So we are using the word unkind, which is the opposite of kind. Yes. As we look at number 2, it says, my brother is a handsome boy. 2 is there. My brother is a handsome boy. So handsome is the opposite of beautiful. Number 3 says, our bedroom is very small. Yes, small there is the opposite of big. In some circumstances, we may use the word large, depending on what one wants to talk about. Number 4, Emanuela is a thin girl. So earlier on, we looked at the word fat, and we said its opposite is thin. That is what number 4 is talking about. 5, which is the last one, says that cook is new in our school. Now we are looking at the word new as the opposite form of the word old. In this case, we are referring to someone who has not taken long in a certain place. So we say that person is new in this place. But when we're also talking about other items like clothes, somebody may say, my dress is new. My dress is old, something like that. Thank you so much. So those are just a few sentences giving us the explanation there on how, giving us examples on how to use those words. Now here I have an activity for you that you'll also do as it is shown on the screen there. We have the questions there. The exercise, the instructions for the exercise read as follows. Fill in the blank spaces with a correct word in brackets. So as you can see on your screen, you can fill in, pick the correct word from the given list, the given ones, and complete that sentence correctly. Yes. On the next slide there, we have other sentences that you are also going to complete by filling in using the correct form of the word given in brackets. I thank you so much. That brings us to the end of this lesson. Thank you.